What is up, guys? Carter Wajenko from the Tackle Rat, and today we're going to be comparing two baits from Z-Man, both two different styles of chatterbaits. Let's get started. Alright guys, so today we're going to be comparing the Z-Man Jackhammer. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of this bait. Probably the most popular chatterbait out on the market right now. Super high quality components and has a great action, and it catches a ton of fish. Then we got another bait from Z-Man that I'm going to be talking about that may not be as well known of, but is the Z-Man Weedless chatterbait. So as you guys can see, got a weed guard on it. And there's a couple key differences between these two baits. Not a lot of you guys have probably heard of this, but it is an awesome bait. And there are times when I will pick up this over the Jackhammer, and I'm going to be sharing those with you guys today. So first, let's look at the key components of each of these baits. So Jackhammer, if you guys have ever fished it, it's a very high quality bait. What you guys want to have in those chatterbaits and what makes this thing so expensive is how it swims in the water. So right at the end of your cast, you make that cast with a chatterbait. What you want to have, especially when you're fishing targets, so you might be fishing laydowns or stumps or very specific targets, in that chatterbait, it needs to start up right away. So this Jackhammer is going to start up right away, just with the design they have on this bait. You know, not even a full reel crank and you will feel this jig vibrating through the water. And you cannot say that about all the chatterbaits on the market. So that's definitely a unique feature. And then once you start reeling it, you're going to notice this is a very erratic action on this Jackhammer. It darts through the water a ton, and it's not, it's not consistent, which is perfect for imitating smaller bait fish like bluegill and shad. They don't just swim in this big wide direction or just in a straight retrieve through the water. Generally, they're going to dart left and right in very inconsistent actions, and that's exactly what you get out of this Jackhammer. And the great thing about a chatterbait, you can fish it in so many different water conditions. You can fish it dirty water, clear water, deep water, shallow water. There's so many places you can fish this, and that's why you see guys out there literally making a living on this. Brent Chapman on the MLF side makes a ton of money on the Jackhammer, or just the chatterbait in general. Brett Hite, as you guys know, was a big part in designing this bait, and he does really well with this bait, and it's anywhere you go in the country, and if the conditions are right, you can catch a ton of fish on this bait. And same goes for this one that I got with me right here, but it has a super high quality hook. I believe it's a Gamakatsu, and the head is a great head. It was actually designed for skipping, and it comes in a ton of good colors and good sizes, which is exactly what you want. And then what we got right here, the Z-Man Weedless chatterbait. So very, very different action that you're gonna get with this bait in the water. So again, a high quality hook. It's a little bit heavier wire in my opinion. I believe it's also Gamakatsu. And then the weed guard, it's not a super stiff weed guard, but you're gonna have to fish this on a heavier rod for sure, especially if you're gonna fish it around areas where this bait needs to be thrown, which is, grass. It's pretty much the only place that I'm gonna fish this with this weed guard. And what's so different about this bait, first, comparing it to the Jackhammer, much bigger profile. So with this bait, you're gonna be fishing for big fish only. I would say 3 pound and up is what you're gonna get with this bait. And I pair it with the same trailer, generally a Zako or some kind of fluke style trailer. This head, these are both 3/8 ounce heads, but what you're gonna notice right away when fishing this this weedless version is it rides very high in the water column, and the action on it is very tight. So the head on this blade is barely gonna move coming through the water, and it's gonna be a very tight action. You'll feel it in the rod, and this one is gonna wobble a little bit more, give off a little bit more flash, but this is a great bait. I fish it on straight braid most of the time. I'll fish on a Dobbins 735. This one, you can fish on a 733, 734, Sometimes I'll even throw it on 735, but it's a very versatile bait as to which rod you can throw it on. But this bait needs to be fished, in my opinion, on straight braid, or you know, I haven't done it with fluoro, but I'm sure you could. But I do recommend a heavier rod, something like a 735. And this is meant for big fish. I love fishing this through eelgrass. Eelgrass flats is probably the best spot because you got really shallow water, and those fish are going to be hanging around those clumps, those eelgrass clumps, stumps, and any kind of cover that you're going to find in those flats. And it's a reaction bait. You can cover a ton of water with it, and when it comes through that grass, like those clumps and stuff, you can take that reel handle, crank it, and with the braid you have no stretch. So it's really easy to get this bait to come through grass, especially with the weed guard. And you crank it out, you know, that chatterbait pops free out of the grass, and that's when you're gonna get your bite. You know, you can do it with this one, but you know, it's a little bit easier with this just because of the weed guard. And I also think for bigger fish and fishing in that heavy grass, this is a better option just because of that hook, also a heavier wire hook. So that is why I like fishing this bait. Also, if they're on a bigger profile, a lot of you guys might live, you know, near bigger lakes like Gunnersville and stuff like that, where you got those big gizzard shad and a lot bigger fish in general, and a bigger size is going to be better, you know, especially if you're on the hunt for a big one. It is definitely when you're going to want to pick this one up. But two very awesome baits, and just wanted to do a little in-depth comparison. Thought I was going to do a review on these, but you know, they're both great baits, so might as well compare them, show you guys when to throw one over the other. But that is an in-depth comparison on the Jackhammer versus the Z-Man Weedless Chatterbait. And if you guys got any questions, definitely leave a comment below, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of the Tackle Wrap. Thank you.